Buried Secrets, The Cry of the Dead.
Henri walked the streets of Paris, feeling the weight of centuries on his shoulders. The city, with its narrow alleys and ancient buildings, seemed to whisper something he could not fully comprehend. Reports of possessions multiplied, and the spirits of historical figures from the French Revolution continued to emerge, furious, bringing to light truths that had been silenced by time and fear. With each new possession case, Henri found himself drawn deeper into a world where the past and present intertwined in sinister ways. He was called to a mansion on the Ile de la Cite, an old building that had withstood time but now seemed ready to collapse under the weight of a secret. The family who owned it, wealthy and influential, had ancient ties to the monarchy. The patriarch, a stern man with a cold expression, was possessed by a spirit claiming to be Georges Danton, one of the most controversial figures of the Revolution. Henri entered the room, where the man, bound to a chair, muttered words in a mix of despair and rage. His voice was muffled, as if coming from inside a tomb. When he lifted his head and stared at Henri, his eyes were empty, but his mouth trembled with words full of hate. "They betrayed us. Those who stood with the people sold our heads for gold and power." Henri approached slowly, holding a crucifix in one hand and a Bible in the other. He knew that Danton had been executed during the Reign of Terror, but the spirit seemed to be there in the room, feeling the injustice of his death as if it had happened the night before. "Who betrayed you, Danton? Who are they?" Henri asked, knowing he was dealing with something far beyond a simple exorcism. Danton, or whatever was inside the patriarch, laughed darkly. "The Bourbons, the Orleans, even the revolutionaries among us. They were all in cahoots. They used the revolution to hide their sins. Murders, conspiracies, betrayals that echo even today in the walls of their palaces." Henri felt the ground tremble beneath his feet, as if Danton's words were shaking the very foundations of the house. The most important families in France, those who had built fortunes on spilled blood, were now the targets of the dead's fury. But what was even more disturbing, these revelations weren't just history, they were threats to the present. Henri realized that the secrets being unearthed could destabilize the very structure of power in contemporary France. As the exorcism continued, Danton's presence seemed to battle with an invisible force, as if something, or someone, didn't want these secrets to come to light. It was as though the mansion's walls, built with the blood of a dirty history, were trying to prevent the truth from emerging. However, Danton persisted, shouting names, dates, conspiracies, all connected to the great noble houses and the most influential political families. Henri began to notice a pattern. Each spirit that manifested brought not only anger and pain but also a key to the past. They were there not for personal revenge but to expose something much larger, something that could rewrite the history of the revolution. And with each new case, the web of secrets grew more complex and dangerous. One of the most disturbing possessions occurred in the home of a French noblewoman named Madeleine, whose family, according to rumors, had ties to King Louis XVI himself. During the exorcism, Madeleine began to recite a letter Henri quickly recognized. It was a statement from Marie Antoinette, the queen who had lost her head to the guillotine. The words flowed from Madeleine's mouth with a chilling sweetness but carried a terrifying message. Royal blood was spilled by traitors, not by the people. There is something buried in the royal crypt that must be found. The revolution was just the beginning. The sins of the kings are lurking, and they will soon awaken. Henri felt a shiver run down his spine. If Marie Antoinette's words were true, then Paris wasn't just haunted by ghosts of the past. Something far more sinister was buried in the depths of France's history, something these spirits were trying to bring to light, no matter the cost. They didn't want revenge, they wanted to reveal truths that had been buried with them, truths that could destroy the foundations of France's most powerful families. Each exorcism Henri performed seemed not only to calm a spirit but to open a new wound in the already troubled history of the country. And what disturbed him most was the sense that these spirits weren't just souls in pain, but messengers of something much bigger and much older.